This man is Kuda Buck. In the 1930s, he rose to fame for an extraordinary ability, seeing perfectly, even reading, without using his physical eyes. During the 1930s and 1940s, he performed theatrical shows worldwide, claiming that his ability to see without eyes was due to his skill in yoga after decades of intense practice. In 1945, he amazed the public by riding a bicycle through Broadway and Times Square in New York with his head fully bandaged, navigating the city's dense traffic. Recently, Netflix produced a short film based on Kuda Buck's life titled The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. The film is an adaptation of R. Dahl's literary work. In the story, Kuda Buck is represented by the character Imdad Khan, who explains how he gained his extraordinary abilities, such as seeing with his eyes covered, thanks to the teachings of a yogi. The mind is scattered. It deals with thousands of things at once. Things you're seeing around you, things you're hearing and smelling, things you're thinking about, and things you're trying not to think about. You must learn to focus your mind in such a way that you can visualize at will a single object and nothing else. If you work hard at this, you might be able to focus your conscious mind on a single object of your choice for approximately 3.5 minutes. This will take you about 20 years of diligent and continuous effort every day. So spoke the great and wise yogi Imdad. Kuda Buck in reality began practicing the power of directed attention. He would meditate in front of a candle, focusing on the darkest part of the flame. When his mind became fully immersed in contemplation, he would close his eyes and focus his attention on the mental image of his deceased brother. After months of practice, he managed to hold that image for over 3 minutes. It was then that he began to experience something surprising. He could see with his eyes closed. What is interesting about this film is that it highlights the power of the mind and, more specifically, the power of concentrated attention. In the next few minutes, we'll dive into the mind's mysterious power to shape reality. From ancient shamanic rituals to modern quantum physics, we'll uncover how everything around us is energy, and control in it lies in a hidden skill, focused attention. We'll explore how ancient texts like the Yoga Sutras and Carlos Castaneda's concept of intent reveal the secret to altering reality, and how the law of attraction and the law of assumption are tied to these same principles. At the end of the video, I will share powerful habits and a meditation inspired by Imdad Khan to help you harness this energy and create your reality, mind over matter. Thousands of years ago, people already spoke of the extraordinary abilities humans could develop as described in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, an ancient text considered one of the cornerstones of yoga. In these sutras, it is mentioned that by perfecting concentration and directing attention precisely and consistently, the mind acquires powers known as siddhis, or supernatural powers. Patanjali introduces a process called samyama, which consists of 3 stages: concentration, dharana, meditation, dhyana, and deep absorption, samadhi. This focused approach allows the yogi to influence the physical and energetic reality directly. Through this practice, it is explained that by focusing on different objects or states, it is possible to develop abilities that surpass what is usually understood as possible in the physical world. While these powers are not the ultimate goal of yoga, they arise as a result of mastering control over the mind and energy. Some of the best-known siddhis include the ability to access past lives, clairvoyance, knowledge of others' thoughts, invisibility, levitation, and control over the elements. This is precisely what shamans achieved when they entered a trance and concentrated their energy to invoke Mother Earth, asking for rain or other favors for their people. In the same way, they used this power to heal the sick or locate the missing people. The intent. Anthropologist and author Carlos Castaneda, in his writings on the shamanic knowledge of Yaqui sorcerers, refers to this supernatural act as the intent. In Castaneda's work, the intent refers to an energy or volitional force that shamans use to direct their power and consciousness toward a specific purpose. For sorcerers, the intent is an immeasurable and indescribable force present in everything that exists in the universe. It is the power upon which the universe relies. It is the force that gives focus to everything. It makes the world happen. This force manifests in each of us as intention, desire, and will. It is the omnipresent force that makes us perceive. Everything that exists in the cosmos is linked to that force by a connection or bond. The great collective failure is living our lives without considering that connection. We do not become conscious because we perceive, but we perceive as a result of the pressure and intrusion of the intent. In this same vein, we find more modern practices like remote viewing, used in military research projects such as the Stargate project. This ability consists of accessing information about distant places or events without using physical senses. Remote viewing, like shamanic practices and Patanjali's teachings, is based on the mind's ability to transcend space-time limits by focusing attention in an extraordinary way. These are just some exceptional examples of what human beings can achieve when they focus their attention and energy in a prolonged and determined manner. It is not necessary to become a yogi or shaman, or dedicate years to meditation to access this power. In our daily lives, we may not need to develop these extraordinary abilities, which, as Patanjali says, are not the ultimate goal of yoga. However, we can use this power to stay healthy and manifest our desires, as we will see later. But how do these wonders happen, and can we use this energy to our advantage? Everything is energy. We live in a universe made up of energy. Everything around us, from what we consider solid to the most ethereal, is at its core energy vibrating at different frequencies. Quantum physics has shown that the world is not as solid as it seems. On a subatomic level, everything that exists is energy in the form of probabilities. This field, known as the quantum field, contains an infinite number of potentials, and the reality we experience seems to depend on which of these potentials we collapse with our attention. What is fascinating about this concept is that reality is not fixed or predetermined, but rather a dynamic field of possibilities. As we direct our attention to a particular potential, we influence the probability that this possibility will become our physical experience. In other words, the act of observing and focusing our energy on something has the power to modify the very nature of the reality we perceive. It is as if the human mind, by focusing on something specific, helps choose which probabilities materialize. This phenomenon parallels quantum entanglement, a fundamental concept in quantum physics that reveals one of the most surprising and mysterious characteristics of the universe. Quantum entanglement occurs when two particles become entangled in such a way that their states are correlated, so what happens to one particle instantly affects the other, regardless of the distance between them. This phenomenon challenges our traditional understanding of physics, as it suggests that, on a fundamental level, particles in the universe are not separate, but are intrinsically connected. Although this connection occurs on a microscopic scale, it gives us a powerful indication that on a quantum level, the entire universe is interconnected, and the boundaries between things, between objects and people, are much more blurred than they appear at first glance. Quantum entanglement not only highlights the fundamental interconnection of all particles, but also reinforces the idea that everything that happens is related, and that, in some way, everything influences everything else. When you focus your attention on something, you are not only directing your mind toward that object or idea, but you are also channeling your energy toward that specific potential, giving it more strength and increasing the likelihood of it manifesting in your reality. This is the power of concentrated attention. Although we cannot claim that simply focusing on something will collapse any possibility from the quantum field. What we can say is that through the power of directed attention and the alignment of our vibration, we significantly influence the probabilities that our intentions will materialize. Law of attraction. This interaction between human consciousness and the quantum field is precisely what empowers the law of attraction. The ability to attract what we desire depends not only on thinking about it, but also on feeling and vibrating at the right frequency, which causes the universe to respond, aligning the circumstances, opportunities, and resources we need. The law of attraction posits that what we think and feel attracts into our lives what we are vibrationally aligned with. In other words, our personal vibration, which results from our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, acts like a magnet, drawing circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with that same frequency. This law is based on the idea that the universe responds to the energy we emit, a principle that can be understood in terms of quantum physics. When we emit a certain frequency, we are influencing the quantum field and directing our attention to a specific potential that, by the act of our observation and focus, increases its probability of manifesting into reality. As we align ourselves with a positive vibration, our desires and goals become more tangible because the universe begins to respond to this energy that is coherent with what we want to attract. However, one of the challenges many people face is that despite thinking positively or visualizing what they want, the manifestation of those desires is not immediate. This happens because in many cases our conscious thoughts conflict with deeply ingrained subconscious beliefs that limit our ability to attract. This is where the law of assumption, a concept developed by Neville Goddard, comes into play. The law of assumption holds that to attract what we desire, we must act as if we have already obtained it, assume it is ours, and feel that it is already a reality. By adopting this attitude, we are not only aligning our vibration, but also creating a reality in our mind that will eventually reflect in the physical world. The simple act of assuming and feeling that you have achieved it creates a powerful vibration that, just like in the law of attraction, attracts the circumstances that match that assumed reality. The connection between these two laws can also be understood as a process of vibrational alignment and conscious creation. The law of attraction invites you to be aware of the energy you emit, while the law of assumption teaches you to live in that energy as if it were already yours. It's like activating an internal frequency that projects outward in a continuous flow between what we believe, what we feel, and what we experience. Therefore, when we apply both laws together, we are not only attracting what we desire, but also convincing ourselves that it is already our reality, which accelerates the manifestation process. Reality is not what it seems. This idea that our mind and consciousness influence external reality also resonates with modern theories such as biocentrism, proposed by Dr. Robert Lanza. According to Lanza, consciousness is the key to understanding the nature of the universe. He suggests that it is not the universe that creates consciousness, but rather that consciousness shapes and gives life to the universe. These ideas also resonate with the holographic universe theory, which proposes that what we perceive as reality could be a projection of information stored on another plane or dimension, similar to how a three-dimensional image is generated from a two-dimensional projection in a hologram. According to this theory, what we experience as reality is only a fraction of a vast and complex web of information, and our consciousness plays a fundamental role in how we interpret and navigate that hologram. The power of attention. In order for a hologram to be projected, a concentrated beam of light such as a laser is required. This is what allows the latent image to be revealed and given a three-dimensional shape. Similarly, our attention functions like that concentrated beam of light. When we focus our attention precisely and steadily on a particular aspect of reality, we are illuminating that possibility within the quantum hologram, giving it form and projection in our perceptible world. Just as a laser projects the hologram with clarity and detail, our concentrated attention is what activates and materializes certain probabilities among all possible ones. By consciously directing our mental energy, we are projecting our personal reality, accessing different versions of the quantum hologram. The more focused our attention, the more defined and tangible the experience we collapse from the quantum field becomes. The key to controlling energy. As we've mentioned, energy is present everywhere. Everything in this perceptible world is composed and surrounded by that fundamental energy. Ancient civilizations had different names to describe it. In Japan, it was called ki, in China chi, in India prana, and the ancient Greeks referred to it as ether. These are different ways of referring to the same substance, that omnipresent life force which in its most primordial state precedes matter. This subtle energy is what we can learn to control, direct and interact with using techniques and practices that have been developed over millennia in disciplines such as yoga, qigong, and tai chi. The existence of energy centers in the body, called chakras, is recognized. These centers act as energetic vortices that regulate the flow of energy at physical, mental, and spiritual levels. Each chakra is linked to different aspects of our life and well-being, from basic security in the root chakra to spiritual connection in the crown chakra. Through meditation, conscious breathing, and concentration on these energetic points, we can increase and redirect vital energy throughout the body, balancing the chakras and allowing energy to flow freely. As we can see, the key to this entire process lies in directed attention. Whether to activate the chakras or to perform healings with our hands, it is the ability to focus our mind that unlocks the flow of energy. When energy flows abundantly and in balance through our chakras, we experience a state of greater vitality, well-being, and mental clarity. This energy flow not only provides us with physical vitality, but also with a higher creative power. When we learn to consciously channel this energy, we can use it to manifest our desires and achieve our goals. In fact, many spiritual traditions maintain that our capacity for creation expands as energy flows freely through our body and mind. You can easily verify this by doing some breathing cycles. Try inhaling deeply, filling your abdomen and lungs, and then exhaling effortlessly. Do 30 fast and deep breaths, letting the air naturally escape before filling yourself again. After the last exhale, hold your breath as long as possible without inhaling. When you need to breathe, take a deep inhalation and then breathe normally. This technique is known as WHM, Wim Hof method breathing, famous for Wim Hof's life philosophy, and for pushing his body to the limit through breathing exercises and cold water immersion. If you do 2 or 3 cycles of this breathing, it's highly likely that new ideas will suddenly pop into your mind. Creativity increases as prana, or energy, circulates through your body quickly and effectively. Try it. It's surprising. Prevent your energy from being drained. However, just as there are practices and habits that enhance our ability to channel this energy, there are also factors that prevent us from using it effectively, draining our reserves. For example, physical habits, such as poor diet, lack of sleep, or a sedentary lifestyle, can block the flow of energy and cause imbalances. Additionally, negative mental and emotional habits, such as chronic stress, obsessive thoughts, or persistent negative emotions, act as blockers of energy, preventing it from circulating properly. We live in an era where our attention is constantly being diverted, especially when we spend large amounts of time on social media, watching one video after another, without any clear purpose or intention. This overexposure to rapid and fleeting stimuli, like reels or stories, has a direct effect on our minds. Our capacity for sustained attention is weakened every time we switch from one video to another, without reflecting or deeply focusing on anything. We are training our brain to seek immediate gratification and avoid any prolonged effort of concentration. This constant bombardment of information is not designed by chance. Behind these platforms and their structure lies a much deeper and hidden purpose: to weaken our ability to focus attention. Why? Because when our attention is scattered and fragile, our ability to deliberately create our reality is also compromised. Focused attention is the means by which we direct our energy toward the potentials we want to manifest. When our attention is fragmented, we lose power over the reality we are creating, allowing external forces to shape our life experience. Instead of focusing our attention on our desires, aspirations, and personal growth, we fall into cycles of distraction and negativity, making it easier for others to implant their own agendas and shape global reality as they see fit. Increase your energy. When we prevent our energy from being drained by negative thoughts and emotions, we have more energy available to create the reality we desire. Instead of losing hours consuming negative news or distracting ourselves with purposeless content or actions, we can redirect our attention to project the life we want. The more we focus on this vision, the more that reality will manifest in our present. By using the law of attraction and the law of assumption, we project our mind toward that desired life, feeling it as part of our present, which allows us to align with it and make it increasingly real in our experience. Of course, our actions must align with our thoughts. It is crucial to act consistently, making decisions and taking actions that reinforce the vision of the life we want to manifest. The coherence between what we think, feel, and do is essential to effectively materialize our reality. To keep our energy intact and the body prepared to channel it, It is necessary to adopt habits that continuously strengthen both body and mind, not just during meditation or manifestation practice. And to conclude, I leave you with a practice, inspired by one that Imdad Khan performed in the movie about Kutubax's life. Sit comfortably in front of a candle, making sure the flame is about 40 centimeters away and at eye level. Observe the flame attentively. You will notice that it usually has 3 visible parts: a brighter yellow area on the outer part, a blue core at the base, and a darker center. Focus on the central part of the flame, allowing your gaze to fix on it until only that exists in your mind, until you merge with what you are observing. If you don't have a candle or prefer another object, you can use anything that helps you concentrate, such as a figure or a plant. As you maintain your concentration, thoughts may appear, or your gaze may try to shift away from the object. When this happens, simply redirect all your attention to what you are observing, ignoring everything else. Little by little, your mind will relax and focus completely on the flame or the chosen object. When you reach a state of calm and mental concentration, close your eyes and visualize yourself in the situation you wish to achieve. It can be a specific goal, a quality you want to develop, or any other desire you have. Imagine that you are already there. Feel the emotions you would experience, hear what people around you would say, and visualize every detail of the scene. The most important thing is to focus on the emotion and the feeling of having already fulfilled your desire. Take some time to recreate the scene in your mind, and when you feel ready, slowly come out of the visualization, trying to maintain that feeling for as long as possible throughout the day. Return to that feeling every time you remember, like someone becoming aware of something they deeply value and appreciate in their life. Before starting with the candle concentration, you can do 3 cycles of WHM breathing, as I previously described to you. This will allow you to do a mental and physical reset, better preparing you to start the meditation and visualization. This concludes today's video, created with my best intention and attention. I hope this information has been useful and enriching for you. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you soon.